Hello, how are you? All right, we're going to give it a moment and wait for people to join us live. If you are just tuning in, it's your first time, let me know so I can officially welcome you. My name is Jennifer Longmore, founder of the #1 training school in the world and souljourneys.ca. And we are going to dive in this week to the Akashic Record energy forecast for the week of March 28th, 2022. So these last few weeks, you've probably been feeling a lot of interesting energy coming up. And we are going to have a lot of light coming in this week. So that can be perceived as good or bad. I don't like to label things either way because there's really no such thing as good or bad, right? But there's a lot of light portals opening up. There's a lot of light that's going to be shone upon various things. One of them being relationships. So how solid are your boundaries in relationships? How are the boundaries in your relationships reflecting how healthy or unhealthy those relationships are? A little hint, if they're unhealthy, there's probably room for some sort of boundary or standard to be set to in the spirit of allowing for a healthy relationship. But this is also a great week to be infusing extra love into all of your relationships, because we are going to have some things bubble up. It doesn't mean it's all going to be bad. Like I said, it's going to be great too, because relationships that are solid are also going to be illuminated. You're going to be able to clearly see who you're growing with to your next level, who's coming with you, who you can link arms with in light of everything that's going on in the world, who truly has your back, who truly supports your vision, your dreams, and so on. And then who doesn't have the capacity. That's what the beauty of this week is going to do, is shine light on who is seemingly well-intended and is doing the best they can. They just have reached their capacity for how much they're able to be a contribution to your life, how much they're able to honor boundaries, how much they're able to honor you. Are they being the same with you to your face as they are to your back? That kind of thing. So I'm just translating, of course, what the guides have been showing me. But this is a week to really get clear on relationships, the relationships you want, the relationships you want to calibrate, because it doesn't mean that it's and or, right? There's a lot of relationships that may just need some tweaking. They may just need some extra watering in the garden, right? And for some, they will be relationships that you've been tolerating because you didn't want to deal with it. Maybe you were being a little bit passive avoidant. I don't say that from a place of judgment. I think we all have that pattern to a certain degree. And especially over the last 2 years, we don't necessarily have the bandwidth to deal with everyone and to address everything. But because of where we're going, and because this is about we're in the season of moving your vision into reality, making it tangible, starting to take aligned action, putting one foot before the other. We're getting out of hibernation phase and really going to plant some seeds. And so we need to have a sense of who's coming with us, because we can't do it alone. We're here to collaborate. We're here to be in community. And because we're entering a new season, this might also be a season where, as we know, some relationships are just in our life for a season. And it's always interesting when that happens, right? Because we never really enter any relationship thinking that it has an expiration date. But the reality is sometimes they do. And sometimes we're just speaking different languages. Sometimes we're going in different directions. Sometimes people behave in ways that don't allow for us to keep them in our energy field. But all that to say, this is a great week to infuse some extra love, to really look at who has the capacity to support you. And this is also including yourself, meaning showering love on yourself, going easier on yourself. They were really clear on that. This is a week where you really want to be gentle with yourself and ease into new habits and get rid of that part of you that might have the drill sergeant that every Monday says, okay, this is the week I'm going to work out 7 days a week. And this is the week I'm going to drink 18 gallons of water a day, and all those things that we do because we're cute. And then they tend to not last, right? This is the week to ease into any new habits, any new routines, etc. We're going to be having the light shone on literally every area of our life this week. And so the things that are working, that's going to be very obvious. You're going to just keep seeing more synchronicity appearing in those areas. And then the ones that need some tweaking, or the ones that need to have some pretty significant overhaul, that's going to be apparent as well. So just be mindful of that. I'm a big fan of staying ahead of that stuff. If I'm aware of what's coming, I like to already be proactive about it instead of waiting and seeing if it'll happen. I just like to be proactive. So again, this is, and it's kind of interesting because it is spring in a good chunk of the world. This is a time where we're clearing out toxicity, right? Like we're cleansing. And so they were talking about the toxicity in spaces and relationships. So it could be your home, it could be your body, it could be your relationship with yourself, a parent, etc. Anywhere that there's any sort of healing, block shifting, transmutation, anything like that, in support of your vision, right? We're making space for your vision and for you to be able to more easily move your vision into reality. So those things are going to need to be cleared. You're going to also notice that at one point you might have set some goals and then sort of pushed and pulled with them. Maybe you didn't feel you had the bandwidth to execute upon them. And that's pretty common, right? We've been in surge capacity now for 2 years in light of everything that's going on in the world. And we know they're just going to keep hammering us with stuff because that's how things work in an inverted world. In a world that is controlled by the deceivers, or however you want to word them. So this will be a week that you're feeling a lot of extra juju, I guess you could say, around your goals and bringing them forward. So that's a lot of fun. And they want you to dream bigger than you think you can handle, right? So we tend to cap ourselves. We tend to put a ceiling on our vision because we forget that we're supported. We're supported by our higher self. We're supported by the universe. We're supported by all kinds of energies, not to mention the humans that we invite into our life. And so they want you to dream as though you have an abundance of support. Make your dream that big, make your vision that big, and give it that boost that you're looking for. As I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of synchronicities this week. I mean, there's always synchronicities, but this will be a week where they'll be more apparent to you because you'll be looking for them. And because everything's sort of activated this week, there's a lot more light, there's more portals opening, there's just more, I guess you could say, magic happening this week. It makes sense that all of this stuff, if there's a cleaning of house, it's still in support of all of this new light's coming in, and we have to make space. We have to clear out the dust bunnies. We have to clear out the clutter in the closets and various things like that to make space for these new visions, these new realities that we're wanting to bring in. And so because these new light portals are coming in, you, great news, are going to notice that you're more creative, you're more innovative. Maybe you've been sitting with some dilemmas, I'll call them, some challenges, some snafus, and your brain just couldn't figure out a way around it. Maybe you even handed it over to the universe and said, oh my goodness, help me. I'm stuck in this area, or how come I can't make this thing work, or how come this area isn't flowing. This will be a week that, because imagination and creativity and innovation energies are higher, they're more illuminated this week, for things that you maybe forgot about, you put them on the back burner because you didn't know how to deal with them, or certain projects you wanted to move forward, or anything along those lines. You're going to see the creative solutions in those things, but also you're going to get obviously a ton of new downloads because the imagination juices are going to be really flowing this week. So this is not that they said it in this way, but this is a great week to keep your journal handy. Maybe you jot things down on your phone, on your notes, or maybe you voice record messages to yourself. Maybe you are old school like me and you write in a journal, but this would be a great week to get your journal out and to just allow the pen to flow, so to speak. And by the way, this is a great week if you've been considering starting a book or starting a podcast or starting a YouTube channel or starting a fill in the blank. This is a great week to do that. Even, by the way, getting into gardening. Of course, not all things can be planted right now, but I'm talking about like looking at how you're going to create that and how you're going to make space for that. What are you going to grow? What seeds are you going to plant right now? And then, as I mentioned, we're clearing out a lot of dust bunnies, but particularly in the body. So they really, throughout this tune-in, this check-in I had with them, they were talking a lot about the body, and I kept sort of distracting them, going, yeah, let's get back on track with this other stuff. And they wouldn't let the health stuff go. So this will be a week that, as I mentioned, they're shining light in various things. So they're going to be shining a light on some stuff that maybe you've just acclimated to. Let's take back pain, for example. It's a common thing I hear from people. Maybe they have low back pain. And it's not always back pain, as we know. Sometimes it's kidneys, sometimes it's fascia, sometimes it's whatever. But people will have low back pain, and then they get busy and they distract themselves. And all of a sudden the body forgets about it and moves on to other things. It deals with other things it needs to deal with, maybe dormant viruses, maybe regulating your blood sugar, maybe. And so the body starts to accommodate a sore lower back. And it's not until you go for a massage that you're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea my lower back was so sore, because you've just maybe been disassociating a little bit from your body, either spending a lot of time in your head or a lot of time flying on the magic carpet, as many of us light workers like to do, right? We like to constantly journey into other adventures, and we forget that we can still do that and be fully present and grounded and embodied in the here and now. So we forget about some of this stuff. It's not because we want to, it's not because we're pushing and pulling. It's just that the body is so smart that it has a way of course correcting. It has a way of just moving on, right? And finding a way to accommodate that, the new way that the back wants to settle, or the new way that the bicep wants to settle, or the new way that the stomach wants to digest things. But then, because the light is shining on our house, right? The temple that houses our soul, among many other things this week, the things that you had one point maybe dealt with, and then maybe you got sidetracked, maybe you were using a modality that didn't really get you the results that you thought, and you just thought, okay, well, I'll just wait for some new thing to appear, or I'll deal with that later, or something in life happened. Maybe you were in a rhythm, maybe you were going to a chiropractor or massage or osteopath or someone, right, to get things done, and then life happened and it interrupted your routine, and then all of a sudden you haven't gotten back into it. Spending some time here, obviously, because this is the week to clean up the old stuff in the body. This is the old stuff that you've been accommodating for a really long time. Maybe it's an ankle you sprained 20 years ago or whatever. It's not to say it's going to happen in a bad way. You're not going to be hit over the head with a 2x4, ideally, but you will in some way have it presented to you as an opportunity to heal and transmute. So again, this is a great time to go into the journal and ask, what have I been accommodating? What have I been forgetting about? What have I been postponing? It could be dental work. It could be getting an eye test. Like, it really could be anything. But this is an opportunity to calibrate the body to match the new vibration of the new vision, right? We want to be keeping the frequency high, and we want to clear any density out of the body, or anywhere that the body is expending energy, healing stuff that isn't then available to execute your vision. This is why we want to do this. And of course, so that it's more comfortable for you to be fully embodied, right? When our body's not the most physically comfortable place, we unconsciously bounce out of it. The less embodied we are, the less present we are to all of this, the less present we are to our vision and all of those things. So anyways, I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments if this resonated for you, what you're noticing as well. We will see you again next week at the same place and same time for your next Akashic Record energy forecast. In the meantime, if we're not already connected, and especially if you want to get daily messages from the Akasha, be sure to go to souljourneys.ca/soul to download your free soul acceleration system. That's going to give you a guided meditation to the Akashic Records. That's going to go deeper into how the records can support you, how you can use them. I actually show you how to open your own records in that pre-ascension kit. And then the 9 most powerful questions to align to your purpose. More so than ever before, people really want to know what they're coded for during this time. And so when you download that free gift, you're automatically going to be on our email list, and you'll get these daily messages from the Akasha. I never thought that getting daily messages from me would be so popular. We get so many thank you notes, which we don't need, of course, but it's good to know that not everyone wants to get emailed every day, but for these daily messages, and that's all they are, just little brief messages, little pep talks from the universe, basically from your record keepers on, and we tend to be pretty spot on. So we get so many messages saying, oh my goodness, this was perfect for today. So that is how you can access those. I'm going to zip it for now. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.